feel real while we're in them, right? It's only when we wake up that we realize something is actually strange.
Welcome in, everybody, to another Q Code podcast Dream-isode.
Well done.
There we go.
You really want to say it, though, don't you?
I do. I want to say episode. Just let me say episode.
Welcome to another Dream-isode episode.
Yeah, if you're listening to Leonardo DiCaprio, you know what we're all about in this episode. And yes, hopefully you listened to our last Dream-isode. It was
My Poe Cruise lifestyle.
I re-listened to it myself, not too far back.
Not too long ago.
I was gonna say not too recently, but it was recent. Yeah, My Poe Cruise lifestyle, where Daniel here decided to literally just not enjoy his cruise vacation and wanted to work as a ship crewmate.
I was fascinated by the pop-up economy that they were able to construct down on the lower deck.
You could have been fascinated by the palm trees out and wherever you were going.
Part of it was, remember, I was forcefully swept off the ship and then was just hoping to get picked as one of the workers.
So you could get back on.
So and they would only pick the healthy ones. Luckily, I was healthy enough.
He's like cutting his arm, taking the blood, rubbing it into his face so that they seem a little bit more rosy.
He looks very healthy.
It's like, oh, that guy, he's got rosy cheeks. Let's bring him on board. He's healthy. So, anyway, yes, you revealed the name of this dream in our message group, which
I screwed up a little bit.
He does. So I don't like to know what they are called beforehand, but luckily I have a very short-term memory, and I've already forgotten it. So,
see, no harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul. I'm gonna flip this over, and then I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, but. So let's get to it. Let's see what.
We probably have explained this recently, but just in case we haven't, or you're a new listener.
Yes.
Basically, what we do is I have a dream. I write it down in story form, and then Trav reads it on the podcast.
And we make several comments.
He and Alan just pretty much tease me for my dream because I'll admit they're freaking weird. And I was the one that dreamt them.
They're dreams.
They're just weird dreams.
But they're not dreams. So it just amazes me that, number one, that he can remember so many details. And they're so, like, crazy details that nobody really remembers in their dreams. I mean, we're talking like, now he's already mentioned this, like, in Dream-isodes past, but, you know, he's really, for whatever reason, numbers stand out to him in his dreams.
They do.
But he looks at a clock and he can remember exactly what time, how many minutes have passed, and days have passed. The kid lives. I mean, if you've seen Inception, and those, like, the deeper you get into your dream, the slower time
goes on the outside world.
Yeah. That is, like, he must be living. He must be super deep into his dream because he's living years at a time.
So speaking of that, because it was a couple dreams ago that I lived in the dream that spanned over years, right?
Yeah.
Because I was trying to earn cryptocurrency
to go to
space, and so I had to do all that. Then I had to prepare to go to space and all that. But my son actually pointed out, because in that episode you said this has got to be like the longest time frame that anyone has ever spent in a single dream, right? Well, he pointed out to me that's not true. You had a dream, number 9, pandemic, in which you escaped from Earth from a zombie apocalypse, and then jumped 10 years into the future, at which point you were like a general in the military that was like landing on a different planet.
That is true, but I will rebuttal in the sense that like there was lost time. Like that 10 years, you don't even know what happened in those 10 years. All you know is just that
into the next 10 years.
You popped 10 years into the future. You're a general now. You pretty much lived these years in this dream as you were just...
That's true.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be really good at this video game that doesn't exist if it were to ever exist, because I feel like I played it so much in my dream.
But all right, well, enough about dreams of the past. Let's get to the dream of
the present.
The present, which is the tunnel trail trick. Got it.
So do you remember?
Yes, I do.
So that's why there's very little tunnel trail trick.
The tunnel trail trick. Like any good father, I find myself in the stands cheering on my eldest son, and his basketball team is playing in a league championship game. He does this. Like, obviously, his son is playing on a basketball team for his
junior high. And he plays on a comp team. Danny goes to the games, and he Facebook Lives it for 4 people. People want to see.
5 if somehow I accidentally get on Facebook at that time. So
I just thought people would like to live junior high games in real time.
It's just funny because every once in a while I'll get onto Facebook and there will be Danny at his son's game and he'll be Facebook living it. And then you'll see like one comment pop up. What's the score? Thanks, JD, for commenting. Why the score is
26-14.
It's usually not that high. It's usually like, yeah, this is like third quarter and scores 12-8.
That's true in the past when he was younger, but his team this year, I would say they're averaging 65-70 a game.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're pretty offensive oriented.
All right. So his basketball team is playing in a league championship game. Now, I should know this, but from the memories I can recall, I am unsure of whether this is his AAU, which is the comp team, basketball team, or his junior high school basketball team. Either way, this is Game 7 of the series. Game 7. They're doing series?
In my dream, they were. Which in real life, they don't do 7-game series for either.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
But in my dream, they were.
Either way, this is Game 7 of the series and is for all the marbles.
Serious.
This is Game 7 of the series and is for all the marbles.
Well, I mean, if anyone doesn't follow sports, Game 7 in a lot of sports is like,
for all the marbles.
Yeah, it's the all or nothing, winner go home.
Yeah,
which is good because
like when the Nationals just won.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because the next line is winners go home champs, losers
go home lost boys,
empty-handed. Unfortunately, Kai's team is very short-handed, since half of his team is out of town on trips with their family. They're out of town?
Yeah.
What kind of...
This probably was dreamt because it happens in real life. Not on his junior high team, but on his AAU teams. Like, there will be times when, like, 5 kids literally show up and we're like, okay, we can have a game, but you guys are going to play the whole game.
We'll just take a lot of timeouts.
There'll be no substituting. Yeah.
Therefore, there are barely enough boys currently on his team to fill a 5-man lineup, let alone have any depth for substitutions. It is now late in the third quarter, and I can see Kai's team is losing steam quickly. At this point, they are down 71-50, and I know that it would take nothing short of a miracle for them to catch up and win this game. Knowing that it may be a long, rough night for Kai and his teammates, I decide to make a quick run to Walmart to get the boys some Gatorade to enjoy after the game. as well as some orange slices. Just kidding. He didn't say that.
They're way beyond orange slices.
You're never way beyond orange slices.
Yeah.
You take that back.
I personally like mandarin oranges from the can.
Ew. You've always done that. Like, I sure throughout our lives, kids always eating oranges out of cans. I've always thought it was gross.
Super quick side tangent. I lived with Trav for a brief moment.
We don't have to get into it, but he got kicked out of his house.
When I
he
was like
homeless.
18, when I was 18 years
Didn't
old.
have anywhere to go.
So I lived there for like 2 or 3 months or whatever. And during that
It
time,
was 6 months.
during that time, I was poor. So one of the only things that I could afford to purchase myself was cans of mandarin oranges.
I don't know how you were poor. You worked for the state.
I don't know.
I'm not saying like you were rich, but you literally had no payments, anything. This was before cell phones. This was...
No, I had a cell phone.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is right.
I barely had a cell phone. Though.
Okay. So you had a cell phone. You didn't have a home. You didn't have a car payment, did you?
I don't remember if I did at that time or not.
So how could you not afford more than mandarin orange cans?
I don't know. Okay, maybe the truth is I just really wanted mandarin oranges. But I would every night I would eat a can of mandarin oranges, but then I would just like put it down and then I'd go to bed. And then Trav would get so mad because I would have cans of mandarin oranges left.
All over the ledge.
Trav, you gotta pick up your damn cans of mandarin oranges.
To say we're good friends, but we can't live together.
And the funniest thing that I can remember is he hated that I would put my pants on his chest of drawers. The legs would drape apparently over where he wanted to
I needed to open the drawers, and his freaking pant legs were always draped over the drawers.
He got so mad one day. I remember he just smacks my pant legs as hard as he can. He's like, Daddy, got your freaking goddamn pants.
I did not say that. I know me back then, and I wouldn't have said that.
What did you say?
I don't know.
You were so mad.
I don't think I swore.
You were so mad about my pants.
Anyway, so he decided to make a run to Walmart to get some Gator mid third quarter. He's just like, these guys need to rehydrate. Didn't think about getting hydration stuff before.
Maybe that's
the
why
game.
they were losing steam, because they didn't have anything to hydrate.
This way, I hope they won't feel like they are going home empty-handed. Well, you guys lost, but at least you get a Gatorade. That's something. You're always winners in my eyes. Thanks, Dad. A couple minutes later, I pull into the Walmart parking lot, get out of the car, and walk inside through the Walmart entrance. As I'm walking past, I'm glad you specified that it was the Walmart entrance. I was afraid that if you went to Walmart and then entered into the Target entrance, that...
Oh, I thought you were going to go with like if I entered through the exit, because you can usually.
I know, they have...
That's very confusing.
They like try and specify...
Entrance, exit.
I can go in whatever one I want. As I'm walking past the friendly Walmart greeter, a girl, whom is on her way out of the store, catches my eye. Not because I found her to be overly attractive, but because she had a life-sized ice sculpture of an adult person resting on her shoulders.
Do you know how much that weighs? There's no way.
No, she looked like she was laboring a little bit. Like
A little bit. I don't
Why
even
does
think
your
like the strongman competition winners could do that.
Why does your subconscious put this in there?
what?
A lady carrying an ice sculpture.
I don't know.
I think this is a perfect point in time.
It's like my subconscious is like, I've been holding on to this ice sculpture carrying lady character for far too long.
It needs to happen
We
now.
need to just insert it somewhere.
The sculpture's arms were shaped into a ring formation that allowed the woman to place her head through the ring. It's like choking her to death. This then formed a makeshift strap underneath the woman's chin. With these clever workings, the sculpture was able to ride on the woman's shoulders. like it was a child receiving a shoulder ride at an amusement park. Right before the two of us crossed paths, she proceeded to remove the ice sculpture from her shoulders and callously threw it away. I, not wanting to see such an amazing piece of art be destroyed and shatter into a million pieces, craftily maneuver in such a way that ideally positions me to catch it.
AKA just get smashed under it.
So she's basically throwing this sculpture away, and you're like, "Ooh,
Because I didn't want to see it break. Because I was like, well, that's a cool sculpture.
so much ice, go everywhere." Not wanting her to wait, okay, here we go. I snagged the frozen block just before it touches the ground and take
Let's
it
just
back
put
to
this
the
in
woman.
perspective. I just looked it up. A gallon of water weighs 8.34 pounds.
So how many gallons?
So
would
this
it
is
take?
a full-sized
Human.
human. And this has got to be like 500 pounds minimum. And you just position yourself under it as it's falling to the ground.
I'm super strong.
Well, he snags it, so
Yeah. I snagged it like at full reach, I think.
it's just like it's in one hand. Not wanting to wait. I snag the frozen block just before it touches the ground and take it back to the woman. Not wanting her to feel embarrassed, I tell her, "You may not have noticed, but you dropped this back there."
Do you think
Did you not notice that 500 pounds that you all of a sudden were not carrying anymore? Don't worry, I snagged it for you. It's still
in one piece?
in one piece. It did not shatter. How far did she get? Did she not see you snag it? I mean,
She was like, she kind of, okay, so we're crossing paths. She chucks it just as like I'm coming up to like
chucks it over her head.
just as she's kind of walking past me. So that's why I had to kind of like turn and maneuver so I could catch it. Now she's probably like 2 or 3 steps past me. And then I kind of grab it and run up to her and catch up and say, "Oh, I just thought you," just because I know she chucked it on purpose, but I didn't want her to feel bad about it. That's why I was like, "You may not have noticed." But
Why?
Do you know how hard it is?
Why would she feel bad about something? Like, let's just put it in this perspective. I take gum, I throw it away. You're like, "Hey, I don't know if you noticed, but you tossed this chewed gum back there. Do you still want it?" It's like she didn't want it anymore. She got rid of it.
Do you know how hard it is for NFL wide receivers to catch balls that are thrown behind them? Let alone you catching a 500,000 or no, 500,000.
now it's 500,000 pounds.
500 pound
Might as well be.
sculpture of ice as you have to maneuver yourself behind. Erica!
I'm very talented.
I then. You may not have noticed. You may not have noticed, but you dropped this back there. I then softly set the ice sculpture back onto her shoulders and snugly placed the sculpture hands underneath her chin. Can you? He's like, drop this back. Yep, there we go. Right there. Hands on the chin.
Perfect little chin strap.
There you go. You're welcome. She just stares me down with piercing daggers of anger and frustration in her eyes. I act like I don't notice and wish her safe travels. Well, see you later. Big gulps, huh? It just you know that like he thought he did a great thing.
He saved a piece of art.
He could have just kept it. Like, no, this is yours, lady. One Once this debacle is over, I again begin walking further into the store and run into a nice family of 4. Apparently, they had watched the whole ice sculpture incident play out in real time and found it to be highly amusing and comical. Yeah. They expressed to me just how funny it was, and in fact, it may be the funniest thing they'd ever seen. Poor people.
Whatever. It was legit.
Okay. The funniest thing. They leave it a sad life. Just kidding. They are so enamored by what had just transpired that they followed me around the store as I went looking for Gatorade. Hey, do something else funny. Let's go take garbage to other people. That'd be great.
Is there any more ladies with ice sculptures walking around?
Let's break into the Goodwill and deliver everything back to their original owners.
The entire time we walked, they continued to recount the whole series of events over and over again. They would tell tales. As if this happened centuries ago. They would tell tales of how she obviously was trying to get rid of the sculpture and clearly did not want it, but that I had insisted she keep it by placing it back on her shoulders. The family was so captivated by the entertainment I had provided, they felt like they must do something for me in return. Hence, they extended me an invitation to accompany them on a quick off-roading trip in their new Jeep. This sound like a lot of fun.
That's probably what I said.
Besides, I don't want to leave some of my biggest fans hanging. So I accept their invitation and completely forget about my child, who is playing basketball still.
That part I do feel bad about.
He just never returns. He's that father that's like, my dad went out for Gatorade and never returned.
Guys, I swear, just hold on. I know the game's been over for 30 minutes, but he's coming.
He'll come back, I promise.
You'll get your Gatorade.
He's just gotta. Dad? Where are you? Okay. They explained to me that they are from out of town, but had run into some locals earlier in the day that had agreed to take them up an awesome off-roading trail. This trail seemed to be a resident secret, as only the locals knew about it. It didn't take long before I had found the Gatorade, purchased it, and was heading out toward this family's Jeep. He's like running out to the Jeep. He's like, guys, I got Gatorade. I'll provide.
Gotta stay hydrated with your electrolytes.
Next to their Jeep was another off-road vehicle with 2 large gentlemen sitting in a cab. As we walked up, they exited their truck and started walking toward us. The father of the family introduced me to the gentleman. He expounds on the fact that they are the locals whom he was talking about and will be the ones leading us up to the exciting trail. Okay. All right, sorry.
What happened there?
I don't know. I misplaced. Like, my eyes wandered. Anyway, within minutes, we are all packed into the vehicles, ready for our off-road adventure to begin. I'm sitting in the back of the Jeep with the family's 2 kids, while the mother sits in the front passenger seat and the father is driving. You're just like a child. You're like sitting in the middle.
I was sitting in the middle. It was a little awkward.
Back seat, middle, feet on the hump.
We follow the gentleman in the truck in front of us and wind our way through some residential streets until we get to a spot where the pavement ends and a dirt road begins. We're all ecstatic to be leaving civilization behind and begin our new liberating escapade. We all laugh as we start bouncing around from side to side on the rocky, uneven terrain. The further up the trail we went, the more challenging the landscape became to navigate. It wasn't so much the topography that had me concerned, but rather the tunnels that the gentlemen in front of us were guiding us through. These guys are going to kill you.
That's what I'm starting to worry about, Trav.
Every few hundred feet or so, they would take us through a man-made tunnel. Each tunnel was getting increasingly narrower and more difficult to traverse. I looked up at the father driving the Jeep and thought about expressing my worries about the thinning tunnels to him verbally instead of other ways.
I mean, I could have done it like visually, like with charades.
Just like hey.
People can't see what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
charades is not going to come across on this audio recording, guys.
That's why I'm just humming.
I'm squeezing my hands together and making an increasingly high-pitched sound.
to signify narrowing.
However, he didn't seem to have much apprehension on his face, so I decided to keep my thoughts to myself for the time being. In hindsight, I probably should have said something, as not long after my initial trepidations began, my fears came true. Probably in hindsight, you probably should have just gone back to your son's game, but
It's true.
while
Taking him the Gatorade.
While trying to circumnavigate one of the tunnels, the Jeep ended up getting lodged in an area that was too slender for the vehicle and became completely stuck. What about their truck? Is it not stuck?
Well, apparently somehow because they've been up here before, they knew exactly how to like get through all these areas in their truck. But
After a
Like,
few...
right up the walls at an angle and
pretty much, yeah, they were like the car in iRobot. Wasn't there cars that could drive like
on the walls or something.
No. Was that? Or was that Minority Report? They can do that in Minority Report, too.
Maybe it's Minority. I don't know.
After a few minutes had passed, the men in the truck in front of us must have noticed that we did not emerge from the tunnel and reverse course to come find us. We could hear them yelling at us from one end of the tunnel, inquiring whether or not we were okay. We screamed back at them, letting them know that we are fine, but that the Jeep was completely wedged. The guys walked into the tunnel to find where it was. We had become jammed. We all tried desperately to push the Jeep free, but to no avail. This Jeep isn't going anywhere for the time being. Yep.
So
Exactly.
you got out through the back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we got out somehow.
At around this time, I looked over and noticed the two local chaps discussing some options with the family. Not wanting to interfere with their conversation, I decided to head out of the tunnel in the direction we had entered it from, to get some fresh air. Once I emerged from the tunnel, I could see a small bridge cascading across a slim river and elect to make my way in that direction, as it seems like a perfect place to take in the beautiful surroundings while the family figures out their best course of action. As I stood on the bridge, basking in the cool summer breeze, I could hear the subtle tones of human dialogue. Not quite sure where it was coming from, I stood perfectly still and listened intently. I'm eventually able to trace the voices to their origins, which just so happens to be underneath the very bridge I was standing on. Please be trolls. Okay. I bent down slowly to better hear what they were saying. From what I could gather, the two people under the bridge were working with the two gentlemen that had led us up here. From the sounds of it, they were waiting for the two men to take the family back into town so that they could immediately begin their work stripping the Jeep down for parts and stealing anything of value that was left inside the vehicle. By this point, I had heard enough, as I knew this whole charade was a scam from the beginning. I'd like to know what you did. What are you going to do about it?
You'll see.
Now that I have become enlightened of the truth, i.e. the facts of what was really going on, I began to run back toward the tunnel to warn the family about this newly acquired information I had become privy to. When I got back to the Jeep, the father swiftly flagged me down to notify me that we would all be getting a ride down the mountain in the back of the gentleman's truck. They would then drop us off at the hotel they were staying at. Meanwhile, the two men were going to contact someone who would be able to pull their Jeep free from the tunnel and have it returned to them in the morning. Knowing that this was not at all what was going to happen, I went to open my mouth in an attempt to inform them of what was really going to happen. Sadly, before the words spilled out, this is when I woke up. He's like, sucked out of the dream.
So I was unable to help this poor family. And then I don't know if I ever made it back to
Don't get in that car.
You couldn't help them like you helped the poor girl with her ice sculpture.
Yeah. See, at least I was able to get her help.
Excuse me, ma'am. I don't know if you noticed, but you dropped this 500-pound sculpture. Let me
put it back for
put
you.
it around your neck again. That's better. That's nice.
I don't remember, but maybe I don't know if I had to tell her like, can you please put your head forward through the arms of the sculpture so that we can get it underneath your chin.
Well, meanwhile, back at the gym or whatever, Kai is just sitting there. He's like, Mom, Dad, where are you guys? I made my family disappear.
With eyebrow raises. But yeah, I don't know. It was one of those dreams. It started off weird. I ended up in a debacle. And I was unable to do anything about it before I woke up. It was very unsatisfying, even as the dreamer.
It is like, well, damn, son, seeing that you gave us so much of a pleasure watching you heft that 500-pound ice sculpture, I suggest you come along with us in a Jeep ride. Well,
It's the least we can do.
well, mister, that sounds just peachy. Let me get my Gatorade. God. All right, well, there you go. That dream, if you've forgotten, because I literally forgot what the title was. Again, the tunnel trail trick. That is a good trick if you are a dishonest person and know of tunnels that are thin.
It's a very, very specific scam
Yes.
that you can pull.
First, you have to convince somebody to go up.
Yeah, just
Off-roading
follow
with
you off-roading through weird tunnels. And then
Well,
you have to measure.
probably a good
You
selling
have to
point.
make sure they're in the right size car or SUV that will get stuck.
Yeah.
It's true. If they happen to be in a four-wheel drive Mini Cooper.
Or, okay, I got it. So, this is something that's a little bit better. So you could prepare this, and it doesn't have to do anything with a tunnel. But so you do this whole thing basically like how it happened, but then they pull off to the side, and they start talking. They're like, "Yeah, you guys having fun? Yeah. How about you guys lead for a little bit?" So then they lead, but then up ahead, some cow tracks or something, that puncture their tires. So then they do that, oh man, who left these? Dag it.
Gee dang it.
You gone and done, let all the air out.
These are very
How neat is that?
respectable, bad guys, though.
Well, yeah, but that's because they don't want to kill you. They just want they just want to strip your car down.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the fact that they won't swear.
Well, yeah, god dang it.
There's Goshy G.
Gee dang it.
Goshy G.
What does that Flanders always say in The Simpsons? Well,
Oakley dokley.
Oh yeah, Oakley, not Goshy G.
He never even attempts to swear, does he?
Oakley doke. No, there's an episode I swear that he's super mad.
Well, yeah, probably. I can't remember.
After Homer salts his gardens so that nothing would ever grow. I always remember that one. He's like,
Maybe.
he's like, did you have to destroy my gardens? Or something. I don't know why he did. And then he's like, but did you have to salt the earth so nothing would ever grow again? And Homer was just like,
Every bounce we take gets us closer to God. Anyway, all right. Well, look for us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, QCO Podcast. You can also visit our website, QCOpodcast.com. Find us on YouTube and Spotify and all those fun places. Just search for us. Pretty sure I've never even Googled us. We're probably there because we have a website, so you'll probably find it.
Yeah.
Google it.
I don't think I've Googled this either.
Google us.
We should Google
we come
ourselves.
up, I think, if you Google us.
I think if you're a Google Q Code podcast,
It'll bring it up.
So,
Anyway, we'd love it if you do enjoy this, please let us know. You can leave us comments, reviews, stars, what have you. But make sure that you keep coming back each week. Our regular episodes release every Friday, and then these Dream-isodes every Monday. So thanks again, guys, for listening, and catch us next week.